Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sebastian. We welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got an absolutely ridiculous show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, why am I saying it's ridiculous? The reason I'm saying this show is ridiculous is because of something that I'm going to say at the end. But let me get into this topic here. So recently, Stephen A. Smith was doing some rounds, speaking to media. And while he was talking, while he was having a sit down, they were asking him about how things fell apart with Shannon Sharpe at Undisputed, and ultimately how Shannon Sharpe ended up on ESPN First Take. As we all know, Shannon and Skip Bayless had what seems to be a pretty messy breakup prior to them actually leaving the show. But based on some of the things that I've heard Shannon Sharpe say, and I've heard Jason Whitlock say, it may have turned out that the reason FS1 decided to move in a different direction was because of the incident that took place at the Los Angeles Lakers game with Shannon Sharpe and the Memphis Grizzlies players. I believe that's when the network said, hey, listen, we're thinking of moving in a different direction. And I heard Shannon Sharpe himself discuss this on Nightcap. So there are various stories, but I believe that's a part of it. But after Shannon ultimately left Undisputed, he had a sit down with Stephen A. Smith on Club Shay Shay 2 days before he was supposed to make his debut on that Monday on ESPN First Take. And I remember that interview generating about 1.8 million views over the weekend. So what happened? During this sit down, Stephen A. Smith begins to take us behind the curtains, behind the scenes, to explain how the breakup happened, and basically explained how Shannon Sharpe transitioned from working at Undisputed and all the way to him now working at ESPN. So for those of you who never heard Stephen A. Smith discuss this, it's very recent. I want to play it for you now, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here.
Give us the behind the scenes on how, or what was the notion given in place when you found out Shannon was available? Yeah. And what was that conversation like? Because when I seen that happen.
Are you ready for this?
No, I'm like,
you ready for this?
I was like, it was only right.
Nobody's asked me that question.
Come on now.
I give you props for asking it. Shannon didn't even know he was unavailable before I did.
Hold on, say that one more time for the people in the back.
Shannon didn't even know he was unavailable before.
For the people
I
in the
did.
back.
But unavailable like what
Let
though?
me express. If you remember, and I'm only answering the question because you asked.
Yes, sir.
If you remember, him and Skip got into
That-
it about the whole Brady thing.
That.
Right? And Shannon has sort of lost it. Shannon and I knew each other, but we were never like title anything.
Yeah.
We knew each other, had respect for each other.
Yeah.
And he texted me one day and he was like, when everybody else don't know, I know. You've never spoken against me. You've always been a supporter of mine, and I want you to know I appreciate that. And then one day he called me because of how stressful life was where he was. And he knew that I knew Skip, and I knew all of that. And he was like, how can I handle this? How can I make this better? I said, do you. You're a 3-time Super Bowl champion. You're a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. We respect you.
Right.
Don't give a damn what nobody say.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. And he was cool from that point forward. Then he fast forward. And then the whole thing with DeMar Hamlin came back, right? And he was off the air that day. And then he came back on the air that day and he was like trying to say something and Skip wouldn't let him finish his monologue. And when I saw that, I called him. It's over. He's like, what? I said, you won't be back. I said, ain't no inside information. Nothing like that. I'm not betraying anybody's trust or nothing. I know that man.
Yeah.
I don't give a damn what anybody says. I don't give a damn
know
what
actions. You're not going on words. Can't nobody tell you nothing.
I know him.
Yes.
Just, I know him.
Yes.
So I there is no way on earth that happened and you'll be back.
Yeah.
It will not happen.
Yeah.
You understand? And I said, I want you to know when it happens, not if. I said, I got you. Ain't gonna do that. Why did I say that? In 2009, ESPN let me go. Contract dispute. And they wrote me off, bro. They said my career was over. And there wasn't a Stephen A. Smith. And when I say me, I'm not talking about
You're talking about us.
I'm not talking about the star. I'm not even talking about us.
Yeah.
I'm the executive producer of First Take.
No.
not just the host.
Say that
So
again.
I'm the executive producer of the show.
I did not know that.
And
didn't
so
either.
because of it, over the last 2 years, 2 years ago, I was named the executive producer.
Subtle flavor.
So the point is, there was nobody in that position in 2009, in that position as a brother to do it.
Us.
I said, I can't guarantee you what they're going to do because I don't get to make that call.
Yeah.
But I have some say. And I'm telling you, they're going to know I want you on this show. And I don't give a damn about your star power. I don't give a damn about you 3-time Super Bowl champion, your Hall of Fame, whatever. Iron sharpens iron. I believe I'm the best at what I do.
For sure.
I'm not worried about competition. But more importantly, I don't view my teammates as competition. When I work with you, I'm trying to get you paid too. I want you to excel.
I can't say that.
Right.
It's a healthy competition.
Sure. That's
Because
what I mean.
I'll say this too. You on TV,
Right.
and when there was a Stephen A. and Skip,
Right.
that was entertainment.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Now I want to get to the part where I said, okay, it was a ridiculous show. Here's why I'm saying that. While Shannon Sharpe was on Undisputed, I was saying that this guy could arguably go on to be the biggest thing in sports media. This was moi saying that. I said because number one, he was funny. He was charismatic. He had the background and the credibility as being a former professional NFL player, Hall of Fame player, Super Bowl winner. He had that on his side. And he was just charismatic. And I think he was good on some social issues. And he seemed more organic. He seemed more real. So I always had this projection about him. I always said, though, however, I disagree with everything that Shannon Sharpe has to say with LeBron and Jordan. That's why he loses me. And I don't back down from that position. I disagree with almost 100%. Excuse me, of what he had to say. But I think anyone with a pair of eyes and ears could see and hear that Shannon Sharpe was a hell of a talent. And the thing that kind of made me like feel like, okay, that didn't sit well with me is when Stephen A. Smith started to make it seem like, oh, well, if I didn't come in and save the day, he was there on his own. You would have had to have been a total moron to let Shannon Sharpe just sit on his own and not pick him up. Do you guys know Shannon Sharpe already had to deal with the volume before he made it on ESPN? You guys aware of this? With Colin Cowherd's team, the volume? Are you guys aware of this? Well, they saw it. It was quite obvious. Who would let somebody like that go? And as a matter of fact, ever since his departure from Undisputed, their numbers have never been the same. And go look at the numbers when Shannon Sharpe is on ESPN First Take. Then look at the dip when he's not on the show. It is quite clear that this guy brought an audience with him. Go look at the Cat Williams interview. Go look at all his other interviews. The guy was already a big deal. So to make it seem like, it was already an easy pick. He was a free agent. He was the hottest free agent. And ESPN picking him up made a lot of business sense. Trust me, this is about business. Stephen A. Smith ain't going nowhere to pick up your ass if you don't think you can generate ratings. He's not. He may like you, but if you're not going to generate ratings, he's not going for you. And that's what kind of bothered me when I was heard Shannon Sharpe, being so, contritious. Oh, thank you and this and this. I'm like, bro, you know who you is? Like, you don't understand the pull you have in the game and how people react to you. So I didn't, I'm not going for all of that. Now, the backstory of it all, it's his story to tell. But in terms of Shannon going on to be what he was going to be, I already saw that. Like, it was quite clear. Like, who didn't see that? Like, come on. So these are my thoughts on what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.